Hello there, this is your host Habib Zakaria, and thank you for tuning in to my channel. Today's short tutorial is about setting up the NTP configuration on a switch. The same configuration will apply to a router, to any Catalyst switches, to Nexus switches, and the steps are almost the same and identical. NTP is the most important and critical service that you need to configure on your campus networks, and the reason is you need the time to synchronize all across the campus devices. And one of the main reasons is you need your timestamps also to show local time rather than UTC time. For logs, for console messages, for outputs, you need everything to show in local time. So let's go ahead and configure the NTP service and see how the configuration is done in real world. This tutorial is practical in nature because I have applied the same configuration in some of my work that I have done in the past, and I would like to share that knowledge with everyone. Thank you. So let's start. Let's go to the terminal. First thing is selecting the NTP server. The NTP server is basically either on the internet, you can use the North American NTP server, or the global NTP server. If an organization has a preferred NTP server, you can also use that. So I'll be using pool.ntp.org, and the IP for that is 217.180.209.214. So the first command for NTP server is NTP server, and let's enter the IP. The second command is really related with the hardware. You need to update the hardware clock. The hardware clock has a calendar and you need to update that. So the command is NTP update calendar. Now that the NTP server is configured in the switch, you need to configure your time zone. So the local time zone that you are in right now, I'm assuming I'm in PST time zone, so let me go ahead and configure that. So PST -8, that's the time zone for Pacific time zone, and -8 is UTC -8, right, for Pacific time zone. The second thing is you need to basically configure the daylight savings, which is reoccurring yearly. Summertime PDT reoccurring. So that's how you configure the time zone. Now we will move into timestamps. So for that you need to basically configure the service for timestamps. So the command is service timestamps debug date time in millisecond, and you want to use the local time. And the last but not the least is the logs. You want to make sure any logs that you receive from these switches have the date stamp on it showing the correct local time. And with this I conclude this topic, and you can see it's configured, and my switch will now have the correct time stamp plus the correct, it will be reporting the correct time, and all your campus devices should have the time configuration. The only difference is when you put NTP server on the other switches, you need to point it to the core switch that's gonna be acting as your main NTP server. Thank you, and stay tuned for more. Please like and subscribe.